All right. Good evening, everyone. I trust we're doing well. Okay, so welcome to the last phase of our project, SQL project, and I believe everyone is up to date with what has been shared and taught. So if you're not, I would suggest you take a refresher and you'll be able to catch up probably later when you are revisiting this video. All right. So just some brief, we'll do a brief, some brief checks. So if you can see me, if you can hear my voice, just type on the comment section so that we are sure that we are together. All right. Good evening. Okay. All right. Welcome, Glory, Priscilla. I can see you. Rachel, Deborah. Okay. All right. All right. So I think we can proceed. I think we can proceed. So screen. All right. All right. So we'll continue with where we stopped. We're looking at we're looking at product analysis, and we're able to answer some, you know, some generic questions under exploratory data analysis, trying to understand what the data represents. And thankfully, we were able to look at all of these questions. So today we'll dive straight into sales analysis. Okay, and we'll get to see how we can see some patterns or generate some insight from the data set regarding the sales. All right, so after that, we have customer analysis. We get to we get to see the customer interaction with our product as a data analyst. So it's also very important to see customer behavior. All right, so it can give you insight to how well you can relate with your customer in the event of future occurrences. Okay, so that's very key. All right, so let's see what we have here. So the next question we'll continue with is sales analysis. So this is talking about sales by time and weekday. All right, so the question we have here is how many sales occurred during times of of the day for each week, for each weekday. All right, so how many sales occur during different times of the day for each weekday. So I'll copy this. All right, I'll come over to my workbench. Okay, so I can call this sales analysis. Okay, please hold on. Let me find something. I think this spelling is wrong. So, so when you look at this question, all right, it says how many sales occur during different times of the day for each weekday. So what it means is come over to this script here. Okay, use TGB. Okay, what's the name of this database? Oh, retail analysis. All right. So yeah, so we have the weekday colon here. So what it means is that we want to see the we want to see how many sales. So it's the count of sales, all right, that occur different times of the day. So how many sales occurred on a Wednesday? How many sales occurred on a Thursday? How many sales occurred on maybe Friday? Any day of the week. That's what this question means. And then we get to group them or aggregate them, right? So that we can have a better understanding of how customers are, how sales are being made regarding our products, right? So, right. So we say we use our keyword select, all right? Select time of day. Okay. So we use the count function because we need to we need to count we need to count all sales that were made for different times of the day. And the expression of the count aggregate function will be the one where it counts all rows. All right. I think including null values. So if you take a look at this, so this is the expression we're making use here. Count all rows, including those with null values. All right. So that's the expression we're making use here for the count. So we say count, select the time of day. We're returning that colon. All right. So count all the rows as total sales. Okay, total sales. So you can say from the name of our table, retail. All right. Okay, no, retail. And then we use the group by, because after we must have counted all of this, after we must have counted all of this, okay, sorry, after we must have counted all of this, okay, we have to group it into different days. So we say group by the time of day. Oh, I'm making a mistake. I meant time of day, not weekday rather. Okay, so this is what I meant. Um, is asking how many sales occur during different time of the day, not for each weekday. All right, so we're going to group by the time of day, and we can order it. But let's run this first. All right, so you can see here that we have different, this is the total count for each time of the day. So all the evenings aggregated together, we had about 354 sales. All right, 354 sales. And then in the afternoon we had 376 sales, and in the morning we had 19, night we had 75. Okay, so this is what the question is asking. All right, yeah, can we still hear me? Are we together? Just drop a yes on the comment section. Okay, all right, all right, thank you for the response. So we can also group this by using the order by um, optional clause. All right, because if you take a look at our result here, you can see by it's not orderly arranged. So we have 354 topping the chart. All right, so we can use the group by. Okay, so we say and drop this down and use the group by. So we say order by rather. So we say order by. All right, order by. What we order by is what we used as our alias. All right, that's what we're going to order by. So I think you should get to know that by now. So we say total sales. Okay, okay, we'll put this as descending. By default, the workbench orders it in ascending order. All right, so we have afternoon as the highest sale here. So in carrying out analysis, all right, there are questions, like I said, you should be able to ask relevant questions, and it's a skill that must be learned. Okay, asking relevant questions is a skill that must be learned. So does anyone know why we are asking this question? All right. So this is a skill that must be learned. So we don't just ask irrelevant questions. How is it helping our business? So why are we having this, why are we taking this down? All right. So um, one of the reasons we ask this kind of questions is we want to we want to know how, or we could see that afternoon has the highest sales. All right. What it means is that there are more demands during the daytime than in the night, than in the mornings. All right. So there's relatively a difference here. Right. But in the afternoon, we have the highest sales. that, okay, since we have more sales, okay, it's it's wise to meet up that demand by the during the afternoon, or as the sales increase, we need more workforce. But let's take a look at it again from a different angle. All right. Um, there could be a drawback in the sense that when employees, all right, when there are a lot of employees and there are no work to be done, okay, they can be less engaged, and that would lead to less of interaction. So it's always critical to look at when you're making recommendations. So if we are employing more hands, maybe in a sales market, all right, and the demands are not meeting up with the workforce we have, people get less busy, people get less engaged, all right. You get I do, all right. When there are no employee and there's more work to be done, um, you can strike the balance that way. So this is one of the insights you can draw from this. All right. Um, moving on to the next question. Where is it? So we'll take a look at this. Question says, how many sales occur during different times of the day for each weekday? All right. So we just answered this. Okay. So let's see how we can answer this also. It's more like a two-in-one question. So all we have to do is to come over here. All we have to do is to come over here, copy this. Okay. So we'll copy this and put it here. So how many sales occur during different times of the day for each weekday? So here would employ the the where clause, all right, to filter the data based on weekday this time around. So we can say after where does the where clause come in? After we would have written this keywords, so we can say from retail where. So remember, in order of execution, should the where comes after from, all right. So, and it comes before group by. So you should know how to order them, right? Group by groups data that have the same value. Okay, after you must have used your where clause. So we say where weekday, okay, where weekday equal, let's say Sunday, all right. So you can see we have stepped it down a little. So we now have our sales for each time of the day by the weekday. So this result in the output now is for Sunday. All right, it's for Sunday. So if I run it again, you can see afternoon we had 52 sales. In the evening, we had 49 sales. And like, so we can also come here and change it to Mondays. All right, Monday. Okay, so you can see Monday. So this is what we have. So you can take out time to understand how they vary relative to each other. And the other way you can appreciate it better is when you visualize your data. All right. So you can carry out your analysis here, and when you visualize it, probably on a which one of this chart that what's the name of this chart again? A line chart. All right, so you can see how sales relate with the time of day or the weekday. So you can do this for different days. Okay, so this is for that question. All right, so let's take a look at the next question. Next question says, which customer type generates the most revenue? All right, so copy this. I'll show you how to do that right now. So which customer type generates the most revenue? Okay. So use the select. Let me copy this again because of time. So we say select customer type, right? So that's one thing that is peculiar to SQL, right? You can select multiple columns, unlike Excel, where you can't really retrieve unique columns to just look at. So in one of the functionalities of a database is that you have that privilege to do this. All right, so you can say select customer type. This place will replace it with customer type. All right. Customer type. So which customer type generates the most revenue? So remember I said this is like a word. What's the word now? Not a problem statement. A word problem. Okay, a word problem. So when you look at the question, which customer type generates the most revenue? So we're trying to know um, who are high value clients. All right. And then to answer this question using SQL, you look at the question very well. Most revenue. So this should imply, all right, we're not going to use count, we're going to use sum, the sum function, the most revenue, most revenue, most revenue. So take a look, when you look at the word most revenue, also it's referring to the revenue column, but in this data set, it's not named as revenue, it's named as, I think it's named as, I think, okay, total, all right, total. If you look at the data set here below, you can see how we got total revenue. All right. So there are calculations here. Okay. So that's what this question is saying. Which customer type generated the most revenue? So if we want to really dissect this question, we're going to use the sum, all right, the sum aggregate function. And this time we will put in the revenue, which is the total, as our argument in this library function, this aggregate function rather. So we say select customer type, right? Sum all the total, okay, and return it as, we can say, total revenue. Okay, so we say total revenue from retail, okay, and then okay, we get rid of this, we don't need this. So we say, so what you are returning should be what you are grouping by, all right? So we say group by customer type, okay. And remember, what you are ordering your result by or sorting it by should be it should be in sync with your alias colon you created. So we'll say total revenue, order by total revenue. Okay. So if you run this, so you can see which customer type generates the most revenue. All right. So we have member and normal. All right. So I think, as the word implies now, probably that's it's as the word implies, that's what is the result is showing. Okay. So there are different classifications of their customer. So probably if we had more customer type here, of course it will be shown in our result output. So members have the most customers, so you can know who are your high value customers. All right, you can know who are your normal customers, and the variation is almost um it's almost about 6,000. Yes, that's the difference in how much revenue these customers are generating for the business or for the company, and you can know how to improve that, right? Improve that. So it's always recommended that you always reach out to customers to appreciate them, because as the saying goes, there's no business without customers. All right, it's your customers that make up your business. All right, so times like this, festive period like this, you can always reach out to your customers. Celebrations, Christmas period is here. All right, so you reach out to appreciate those people that have patronized your business. All right, so when you have your data, you know how to appropriate your appropriate um, Thanksgiving. All right, you know how to appropriate resources. You know how to appreciate your customers. All right, so you don't just, these values are not just here to for just being here. All right, so you should know how to work with beyond the numbers. How would you interpret it? You also know, so that's just one aspect of it. Okay, appreciating your customers, and also how to um, ask questions regarding how we can improve revenue from normal members, or sorry, normal customer type, or the members. So there are several things you could do with this information here. It's just about thinking out of the box. All right, so that's for this question. All right, so this is how we carry out analysis. So the next question will be still on sales analysis. Okay, which city has the highest value? I think we solved something like this last class. Solved something like this last class. So we say changes to a comment. Okay, which city has the highest? Okay, so let me copy this again. All right, so you can say select. So this time around, you look at the question critically. Which city has the highest? So the concern here, or the subject here, is the city. Which city, right? So this should inform that you are interested in the city colon. So you write it here. Which city, okay, has the highest VAT? So all of this, there's a word they call them in English, the way more like qualifiers or something. I can't recall, but these are just cues to know how to write your queries. Okay, these are just cues to know how to write your queries. All right, so which city has the highest VAT? So when you see the word highest, all right, um, uh, um, the highest VAT, that's value added tax percentage. Okay, so you can approach it in different ways. We can use the average, function, the average, what's it called? The average aggregate function. All right, and then group them in that order. So basically, we're just looking, when you look at value added tax too, you can still approach it in a way. Instead of using sum, we can also use the average. So what it will do is that, let me write that expression first. So say, look at average. So you say average, we change this to tax. Do we have a column named tax? Okay, instead it's VAT. All right. And if you also look at the I think they call this appendices, or this is different from glossary. All right, so if you look at it, the tax is a percentage multiplied by the cost of production, the cost of goods. All right, and they all fit into different the different formulas here. Right, the cost of goods is unit price times quantity. So the VAT is a percentage that is applied on the goods, cost of goods. All right. So it's 5%. Look at it, 5% of this. These are examples. 5% of a particular cost of good will give you this. So 5% of 320 dollars, naira, pounds Okay, from retail. So we group by city, all right? So we're aggregating all the city according to the VAT, all right? So we order it by what we are using as our alias. So we say total VAT. Okay, let's run this. Okay, so this data set just tells us that we have three cities, all right? So it's not very voluminous, or the collection of data was it's not spread across various cities. So this city has the highest value added tax, all right, by average, all right. So I think there was one query we ran, can't remember. Okay, I think is this. Let me run this. Okay, so we saw that home and lifestyle appliances had the average tax. All right, so we are aggregating it by average, not just the direct tax or the direct VAT. All right, so we are aggregating it by, we are returning our result by the average. Okay, so it will help you. What the average does is that it will help you. It will tell you. Um, it's like, of course, it's called the mean. It will tell you. I don't use the word average. It's one of the central tendencies in descriptive statistics. So it just describes the the middle point of what is expected. So we know what is on both sides. If it's We can tell that this is the across a time period, this is the normal, or this is the I'm trying to avoid the use of average, but this is more like what is expected or what is being taxed. So if you okay, let me run this again. So if you look at the three cities, they are closely related. All right, so it tells you that for a particular period of time, this is what is expected. All right, so that's what the average is doing here for the average value added tax. All right, so the next question will be, which customer pays the most, which customer type pays the most VAT? Okay, so you can come over here and say which customer. I think we can still use the same line of SQL statements. So paste it here. Which customer type? All right, so we change this to customer type from city. All right. Okay. So which customer type pays the most value added tax? So we still make use of the average aggregate function. Okay. As you can call this as uh, let's say value added tax. Customer value added tax from retail group by. So we group by what we are returning. All right, using our select keyword. So group by customer customer type. Okay, so all of the things I'm saying, okay, just have a written note on them. All right, so it will help you write out your insights. All right, so I've just been saying all of this offhand. All right, they're just coming out. So you could as well still think out of the box too, because this data set, you don't like I always say, this is just like a demo or to simulate what's happening in the real world, right? So you can as well make a lot of assumptions here, all right? Unlike when you're working with real data set and you are abreast with the events surrounding the collection of that data, and with the times too, and the season, and the yeah, everything that can play a role or a factor to what the data set can represent. So Just saying all of these things too, so that we can have something to write out. All right. So we say select customer type, group by the customer type, order by what we are using as our as our alliances. All right. So we say customer VAT. Okay. So which customer type pays the most VAT? Okay. So you can see they are closely related to members and normal. All right. So members are taxed the most. Okay. So and it is quite logical because we see um, the more I think okay, it's not we can't really say that for fact that there's a correlation there. The more revenue you bring, okay, is the more you'll be taxed because we still see some businesses who I've seen some business who are still trying to come up, like they're still growing, and but then they are taxed more than other businesses that are actually doing well already in terms of generating revenue and sales. Okay, so it's we can't really say for fact that um so it's not there's no correlation. So let's not keep that. Remember, data is collection of facts too. So but in some cases, people who are members or businesses who are doing very well are taxed the most. Okay, in some cases. So but in this case, we see that members are taxed the most. All right, members are taxed the most. So that's the insight we've seen from the data. Okay, so let's check what we have. All right, so that's all for the sales analysis. So this just gives us a sneak peek into what's actually, you can see how we can ask related questions to the data set, all right, and how we can, make informed decisions. So there are more questions, but because of time, we'll just stick to something like this. They'll be relevant and it can give you a pedestal to advance your career, all right? So the next thing, we'll look at customer analysis. When you hear customer analysis, what are we actually interested in? All right. You will hear things like what's I think punctuality is the soul of business. Okay, is it punctuality? I think so. Yeah, I hope I'm not wrong. So trying to relate it to customer. All right. So customers, they have a role to play. Like I said, without customers, there's no business. All right, because you're out there to make profit. However, you should always put your customers at the front, all right, because they are the ones that make up your business. Okay, in school, there's no lecturer if there's no student. I can't be facilitating, all right, if you are not here. So that should inform the way I teach also, because you are the reason why I'm teaching. All right. So it's the same thing too. If you relate it to different, there's no pastor, there's no preacher without members. So it's the same thing. So why we actually looking at customer analysis is to check their behavior towards our product. Okay, and it will help us to make certain decisions, not only to drive revenue, all right, but to increase our service, to know the kind of product we put out in the market, into the market. So that's why customer is very, 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 very key in your analysis. All right. And this is actually the last phase of our project. So I hope you'll be able to get um, a good understanding of when you are relating to data sets, when you're working with sales data. All right. Your customer is there. So I don't know, probably you might have been wondering, or you might have asked, why are we making use of um, sales? We're making like about 70% of the data set we've been making use of since we started this training has just been streamlined to sales, because that is, should I say, it's a generic approach that can that whatever industry you find yourself or whatever niche you be in later on in the future, you can still pick up it's a you can pick out something from it. All right. So there are different niche you might want to go into healthcare. All right. Real business. Um, look, there are different sectors, all right, that you can apply data analysis. So, but this will give you an overview, all right? It will give you an overview of what can be done with your data, all right? And con- re- concerning the fact that when I looked at when I look at the audience, all right, my audience that I've been working with in a long time, I think majority of us are, beginners, some are intermediate. So it's a way of just trying to see how we can it was not to just meet our needs at different levels, right? So but as time progressed, you would have need to begin to go for advanced courses. So the objective, the goal of this program, it was not specified to a particular level of um, understanding. So we have a mix. Yeah, that's the right word. We have a mix. So but as you progress, like I mentioned, you would All right. Yeah. Can we hear my voice? Can we see my screen? Yeah, I believe we can. I believe you can hear me, right? All right. Um, Sorry about that. I think my network had just had to refresh my network. Okay. So I think I can proceed, right? All right. Um, where did I log off? Was it, um, did we get this part of my explanation, distinct customer type? Where did I log off? Where did you miss my explanation? I can't recall. I think let me just proceed with, okay. All right. So we say how many unique payment methods are recorded in the data set? Uh, all right. So these are just know what your business is, doing. Like how many unique payment method. So we say select. Let me copy this. Okay. Yeah, we change this to distinct to payment method. All right. Payment method. All right. And we run this. So we have three unique payment methods: credit card, e-wallet, and cash. So remember last class we talked extensively on this and explained their importance in the business, how it relates to sales. Right. So let's check out the next question. Can we still hear me? Can we hear me? I think I'm unmuted. Can we hear me, please? Let me get confirmation. We'll know it's if it's from my end. All right. So I think I have a response there. So if you can't hear me, just try to refresh. All right. So let's proceed. So the next question is, which customer type makes the most purchases? All right. So if you can master these little questions, all right. So when it's time to ask, real questions as it relates to your data sets, when carrying out analysis, it will be easy for you. So I'm just showing you the building blocks. All right. So get the basics. All right. Get the basics. So which customer type makes the most purchases? So how do we do that? Um, we'll say, let me let me copy this. Writing these queries take time. All right. So which customer type? Look at the question critically. Which customer type? So we're referring to customers type makes the most purchase. The most purchase. What do you think that would suggest? The most purchase. All right. So you've seen things like the most. You've seen things like generates the most. Okay, you see, this one suggests sum generates the most revenue. All right, so you should know what the qualifier is. I think we have I think there's one that mentioned the highest. All right, so which customer type makes the most purchases? That implies us using the count function. All right, because we're counting based on their unique, transactions. Which customer type makes the most purchase? So we're counting all the customer types, all right, as it relates to how many times they made purchases. So we're not summing it up, we're counting. All right, we're counting. So we use the count, and we change this from the VAT, the argument here, to the asterisk. You know why we're using the asterisk? All right, because always try see how the basics, see how everything is building up. All right, it counts all the rows. So we're going to count. So what it's actually going to do is that if you come over here, which customer type, right? So these are customer types. These are customer types, right? Members, number. So it's counting it individually. If we want to relate this to DAX now, we can say, this is going by row context evaluation. So it's going unique individually, it's counting it. So we're not summing it, we're just counting the number of occurrences that normal members was seen in our data set. So that's why we're using count, we're not summing. But if you take a look at this, trying to explain it so that we can have an understanding. So if you take a look at this, where is that now? Yes, why didn't we use count here? Okay, because we're working with revenue. So it says which customer type generates the most revenue. So if I come over to the data set now, which customer type generates the most revenue? So for every record that was entered in this data set, it has alongside sales too. So this time around, we're not counting this. This is the qualifier here. So we're going to sum all of this. So once it counts this row, all right, it will check for the next normal member. So if you see, we have, normal customer type. We have member down to here, member. All right, so it will aggregate this, it will count it, to count 486.4440. All right, and it will aggregate this 336.5565. So that's why. So understand what the aggregate function do. All right, so that's why we use sum here, and that's why we're using count here, and we're going to count everything. All right, so I hope that suffices my explanation. So from retail, okay, group by customer type, right? And let's take away this. So if we run this, okay, we can change this to customer count. Customer count. Okay, hope it's correct. Okay, so we can still order it, but remember, by default it orders it as in the order. So you can see the member have it's members. All right, so you can see how to put your customers into different buckets. All right, which customer type makes the most purchases does not mean the fact that member is stopping. Okay, let's order it. Okay, let's order it. Order by customer counts. Okay, so here's one thing that can be tricky if you don't okay, what did I just do? I didn't specify which order. So let's do descending order. Okay. So we have members. So I was saying that the fact that members is topping the table, that's by the number of purchase they make, does not necessarily mean that they generate the most revenue. Okay, member makes the most purchases, but let's check what this data set has. Members make the most purchase, right? uh I think there was something we did relating to which customer type generate the most revenue. Beautiful. So let's run this. Members, okay, in this case they are the ones that are making the most revenue, they are generating the most revenue. Okay, so but in some cases the members might be the people that are buying the cheaper products. All right, and then if you aggregate the revenue or sales from that, of course it will not equate those that are buying the most products. Okay, so it does there's no correlation. Yeah, that's the right word. So there's no correlation between, there's not always a correlation between them, but in this case there's a strong correlation because um, members make the most purchases and they make the generate the most revenue for us. All right, so I think that's for this question. So we've answered this. So let's check the next question. All right, so what is the predominant gender amongst customer? All right, this is gender dominance. That's what the question is related to. All right, so okay, yeah, there's some additional information here. So aside working with these questions, what does this question actually mean? All right, so we want to know our frequent buyers. Beautiful. I didn't see that. Also gender dominance. So we want to know which gender is dominating our market. All right, is it the female gender? Is it the male gender? All right, so you know how to work with that data. All right, so the next thing would be to see, okay, what is the predominant gender among customers? So the dominance. How do we do that? Okay, just think on these things. All right. So always settle down to think and break the solution forth. So what is the predominant gender? How do we go about this? We've had a lot of examples to know how to, you know, to know how to answer questions. So you see, all of them are almost the same approach. So first things first, we use our select keyword. Okay, let me type now. Is a select keyword. So what I was selecting, gender, all right, as it relates to the question. Okay, so what is the predominant gender among customers? It's the same thing. Which customer type makes the most? All right, so we can still say among the customer gender, which is the most um, predominant. So what problem? All right, it's just tweaking. I just tweaked the question. Instead of saying what is the predominant gender, I can say which customer gender, you know, is the most predominant. Of course, if I use the most, if you look at it critically, it will suggest that we are using the count. I want us to understand. I want us to really understand, so that we don't just go, cramming. All right. I want us to really understand how to break these word problems. So what it means is that we have two genders, only two genders. So what that means, we're going to count according to, we're going to count them individually. All right. We're going to count them individually. That's what it means. So if you look at it now, that means which gender is the most predominant. That means we're counting. Remember this, like this data set is denormalized, so it's not normalized. All right. So I remember when it comes to data modeling, your fact table is what gives you your granular information at the very least detail, the very, very least information. Okay, so if we want to break this table now, we can now begin to aggregate it based on customer. All right, so you see that male and female will just appear twice in our dimension table. But since this is more like a denormalized table, all right, so every bit of information should be recorded. So we're going to count them. So how many times is male? So because these are unique invoice IDs, all right. So how many times do we have male in our record? So we're counting them uniquely. 1, 2. We're going manually. 3, 4, 5, 6. All right. 7, 8, 9. To count for female, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So you can see just in this view, we have 12 records of female making purchase. All right. So if we want to give an answer to this, we'll say that females are the most predominant gender that are, interacting with our product. Just from this view we have now, just from this view. Okay. So that's what we're actually doing behind the scene. That's what the queries are doing behind in the data set. All right. If it's millions of rows, this is what is happening. So it's counting it like this. So that's what it is. Okay. So we say count. I had to go that route because I want us to understand. I want us to understand. You know what I get in gets understanding. All right. Okay. So I want us to understand. That's why I went that route. Okay. So, but I believe we understand. If you can't, you can just, you know, write it out. I understand in the comment section. At least it will help me know how to progress. So we're going to use the count. And remember, this is the expression of the count we're using. It all falls back to this. It all falls back to this. If you're using the count, no, there are 3 expressions of the count syntax. You see, it counts all rows. I just did that now. I was counting manually. Count all records, all rows, you see? Okay, so that's what I'm doing. So that's what I'm always stressing. Know the basic. The basics can be boring, all right? It can be stressful, but when you look back, you'll say that what was once a thorn in my flesh is something that is now very, very easy. All of this. So look at it. I've used distinct count. I use distinct count here. I use distinct here. Okay. I use distinct. I didn't use count, but I just went straight. So it will always boil back to the basics. The English we are speaking today. All right, you've been speaking English for at least 15, 18, 20 years. All right, it's all the building blocks. How are you? Where are you going to? Full stop, comma. Understand it, get it, master the basics. It's the basic that makes up the advanced thing. So, all right, with all that being said, so we continue. So count, we're going to use the all count all the rows, including including the null values. So as you can see, gender count. All right, I would use predominant, but it's too long because of time. So you say gender count. All right, from retail. All right, from retail. So we'll group by, okay, group by what? We're grouping by gender. All right. So you know what we're grouping by gender? You should know by now because they have similar value. Remember, grouping is we're grouping based off similar value. All right. Check the notes for references. All right, group by, and what are we ordering by? We're ordering by gender count. Okay, that's what we're ordering by gender count. Okay, in what manner? Descending. All right, so I think we are good to go. There's still an error here. All right, I think I have to put a comma here. All right, so if we run this, all right, so we see the male. Wow, 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 wow. Just by one count difference. So there's a tie. Okay. Just wow, wow. This is so you can see. So just by one count difference, 498, this is 497. Right. So you can imagine. So from this data set, so there's just 50-50 of just with, if you want to put that into a pie chart now, it's going to have almost the same you know, the same value. All right. So what it means is that the rate at which males, interact with our product is the same, almost the same rate at which the females interact. All right. So you have that information there. All right. So the next thing we'll do is um, what is the gender distribution across branch? So I'm going to copy this, okay, and put it here. Okay, let me. All right. So how are we doing this? Okay, so let me copy this. All right. So you see, customer analysis is more like it's why we're asking these questions. So it's more like this customer analysis is more like what's it called? What's this KYC? Yes. Yeah, know your customers. All right. So these are important if you are going to work in the sales sector, business. If you are working with transactions, accounting, all right, you will get to ask questions like this. This is what companies do. Know your customers. So, which did I just copy that question out? What is gender distribution across? Okay, yeah, okay, okay. So how we do this? We select gender. Uh, okay, now this was across. What is the predominant gender among customers? So if you want to relate these two questions together, this was just across the entire data set. That's what this question required of us across the entire data set. All right. But for this now, this is specific across each branch. So if you take a look at, we have different branches here, A, C, B. Probably there are more branches. So across is across each branch, right? So this is what this question relates to. All right. So we say select gender count all as okay. We can still use gender count. Okay, from retail group by gender. All right. So across each gender, that means can anyone guess or can anyone try? Can anyone make an attempt across each gender? It is more specific now. We are restricting our query. So can anyone think of the approach to this? What clause? Let me just give uh, what's the word now? An hint. All right. So this question is streamlining it now. Can anyone give a comment on that? Which additional clause are we going to use? So you see how all of these are word problems, all right? So I'm trying to see how I can help us, um, because most of what you'll be doing is critical thinking, all right? Most of what you'll be doing is critical thinking. Can anyone still can anyone hear me? Does anyone have that same? Someone is just saw a comment. Can we hear me? Hello, please. If you can hear me, just respond on the comment section. All right, all right. Just need to be sure. So if you can't hear me, please just try and refresh your network. Okay. Right. So I was saying, who wants to give us a guess on the next keyword we'll be using here, or the it's simple. What is the gender distribution across each branch? So this is tailoring. It's tailored to is restricting our search now. I think I'm giving enough of hints. It's restricting our search. What is the gender distribution across each branch? which clause do you think, which additional clause do you think we add here aside the group by, order by? Okay, I can't get an answer. All right, so we are going to use the where clause. All right, we're going to use the where clause, just the way we use the where clause for I think for this. All right, so this is what we're going to do here. So it's the same thing with gender distribution. What's the gender distribution across each branch? All right, so we include the where clause after the from keyword. So we say where branch. All right, so you see how everything is adding up. Where branch equals, so across each branch. So we can just say where branch equals, you can say A. All right, when we run this, so you can see this is the male distrib so this is the male distribution for branch A. So we can see the what's the word now? We can see the comparison between male and female in branch A. But if you come over here, the total count, all right, you can see male, the proportion of male relative to female in the whole information about our transaction is 498. This is 497. But in branch A, the proportion of male in branch A from this entire count is just this amount. All right, male 90 179. So we can also change this from, if we can change this to city, right? We can change this to city. We can put this, we can say B. Let's check for B. So this way you can just dig deep into your data. Look at female 160, right? We can change this to city. I don't know those city names. I think, okay, let's check for Mandalay. I hope I spelled that correctly. Mandalay. Let me guys check. Mandalay. All right. Okay. I think I was almost there. Where city equals Mandalay. So you can now see how you begin to do exactly. So you can see. So you just play around with it and understand what your data is represents. All right. Okay. Okay. Someone already mentioned that glory in the comments section. I didn't see that on time. All right. Well done. Thank you. Okay. So that's for that question there. So let's check what we have next. Okay, we have about 4 questions. So let me run through this before time elapses. At what time of the day do customers provide the most rating? Okay. At what time of the day do customer provide the most rating? So, like I said, it's always good to ask relevant questions, and it's a skill you need to develop. And I'll be giving you hints or cues or reasons why you do that and how to help you ask these questions. All right, so I'll copy this, right, and put over here. So why are we asking this question? You might want to ask, why are we asking, like, how does the timing whereby rating coming into our as feedback, how does it concern, how does it, remember I said it's not always, you're not always out there as a business owner to boost revenue. There are other things you need to consider. Yes, they are important, but come on, you need to ask different questions. So how does this question relate to our analysis? Okay, we are asking what time of day the customers provide most ratings, right? Remember there was a rating count we did, right? And let me see if I can still find it here. I think this should be the last question we did before sales analysis. All right, so you can see the average rating. This is the highest ratings for food, healthcare, fashion, sport, and travel. All right. So why are we asking this question? If you take a look at Uh, if you take a look at this first question we did, how many sales occur during the time of the day? Afternoon had the highest. All right. So what's happening in the afternoon that's making our customers much happier about our services or product? All right. To give us more rating more than other time of the day. Okay, let's run that query now. So we say check this to rating. Rating. Okay. See from retail where okay, get rid of this. We don't need this. Group by time of day. Right. Order by average rating. Okay, so at what time of day the customers, so we want to know the time of day the customers make the most um, rating. Okay, and we'll group it by the time of day. So if we run this, let's check. So we have more ratings. Okay, if we use the average aggregate function, we have more ratings in the afternoon. So what this is doing is that it it walks through the data set, all right, and checks all the rating per time of day. Where is it? My time now for evening. So it goes through all the evenings, all right, aggregates their respective average, their respective rating here rather. So that's the average for that's what we're using, the average, all right, and then it returns it as this. So we have the average rating, highest average rating in the afternoons than in the evenings or mornings. All right. So, but if you look at it now, there's a close relationship. Okay, this is averaging 6.9. This is 6.9, 6.8, 7.0. So it's really close. So what this means is that um okay, we can ask why are they actually making ratings in the afternoon. So we want to know, does it really affect our, how will I put it now, which period. Okay, I want to show us the relevance of this question now, so that we're not just asking. We want to be sure in if you're carrying out, if you are doing data entry, uh having the taking record of the right information is very important. All right, and if you're asking questions, asking the right questions also important. So why we're actually asking this now, so what's making our customers rate us in the afternoon? Maybe somebody will begin to see where I'm going to now. That's the question. Why are they rating us in the afternoon than in the evening? So could it mean that, is it in the afternoon that they prefer our service depending on the nature of your business? All right. What's happening in the afternoon exactly? So this is a question now we can say what's happening in the afternoon, all right? What's happening in the afternoon hours that's making our customers much happier about rating? Because if you see this, if you when you look at rating, not everybody rates your product. Even when the product is good, you've ordered some things from maybe any e-commerce company, or you've bought something and then you don't even give them their flowers, all right? Or you don't appreciate them. So, but now we're having more ratings here. So, what's actually making our customers much happier, all right, about our services or product to give us more rating more than other time of the day? They are giving us ratings here, oh, but why is this afternoon topping? All right, so this is how you ask questions. Could it mean that does this suggest that we improve our service here? Because what business owners want their customers to rate is either their product or their service, right? So does it mean um so if you look at, so what we can deduce out of this now, okay, that's, let me bring point home now. What we can deduce out of this is that we're actually doing we're actually doing well in the evenings, morning, afternoon, and night. Are we together? Can we hear me? If you can hear me, please just respond on the comment section. Okay. So this is what it means. All right. So if you look at it now, it means that we're actually really doing well. This is an insight gotten. Okay. If evening had like um 4 ratings, 4.4 or 2.3, it does not really mean we're actually doing um poor, because it's in the afternoon that we have a lot of sales. Most people don't buy in the evening. So you can't be expecting more ratings in the evening. All right. If people are not buying in the evening, you can't be quarreling yourself or beating yourself. Why are we not having more ratings in the evening when you're just having 3 people buy? But imagine you're having like 1,000 persons buy in the afternoon, all right, and you're seeing maybe 4 ratings. Okay, hey, that's a good point to ask questions. So that's what this data says. So to get the insight gotten from this now is that okay, we are actually doing well because the difference is not really much. This is 6.9, close to 7. This is also 6.9, close to 7, and this is 6.8. All right, so there you have it. You can generate insight from this and know how to. So if there was a very big variance, of course, we want to know. All right, so I think um, that's well explained. So let's just check at what time of the day are the most ratings given for each branch. Okay, this is the next question, right? So you see, I'm just using a tool as a means, all right, to what I want. So who is actually doing the analysis? We are the ones doing the analysis. The tool is just the vehicle to the destination. I would always use that analogy. All right. So when you hear of drawing insight, yeah, there are tools. The tool is just to aid you. All right. Yeah, you see how I'm actually thinking out of the box, just to help us see how what analysis is all about. Okay, so you are the one to do the thinking. The tool is just for you to help you um, interact with your data. All right, so there's a role to play. All right, so I will select this again. Select because it's at what time of day are the most ratings given? At what time of the day are the most ratings given? Okay, for each branch. Okay, I didn't see this. I was almost confused. For each branch, at what time of day for each branch? So we're still going to use the where clause here. So that's the first thing you do for each branch. So it's now streamlining the query. So where branch equals, so we can use anything here. Where branch equals C. So select time of day, average rating as average rating from retail. Okay, where branch equals C, group by time of day, order by average rating. All right, so we can run this. Okay, so now we are looking at the average rating, all right, per branch. Now it's not for time of day, not only for time of day, but for branch. You see how we can we can condition our queries. All right, so we're just looking at it for only the time of day right now. But now we've added the where condition to filter the data set based on a certain condition. So we filtered it now. So in the ninth, in branch C, all right, these are the ratings we have. So we want to know, okay. Let's say, okay, we've had this is just an overview of the rating, but now we want to have specifics. All right. So we can say, okay, let's see how our guys are doing in in this city. Let's see the rating in this city. So we're now streamlining, we're filtering it. I don't want to use Mandalay again. Let me see what's here. Yangon. Okay. If I got the spelling well. Okay, let's see how they're doing. Let's see how they're rating our product over there. Okay. So you can see in the afternoons, this is the average rating. So you can just at your spare time go through this project again, and you could also say, let me give you some heads up. You could also say, you might not even use rating here. That's what we have. Um, you can use payment method. Let's see the method that is widely adopted. Look at payment method here. Let's use the payment method that is widely adopted. Let's see the payment method that is widely adopted in this city or in Mandalay. So you can see how. So this is just a basic for you to know how to ask questions. So you can see, oh, what are they? Which payment method is widely adopted in Yangon or Mandalay? You can do that. So we're just using time of day for this. All right. All right. So I hope that's understood. Okay. So okay. So the least but not the last question: which day of the week has the highest average customer rating? So all of this is just customer analysis. Okay. Okay. So which day of the week has the highest average customer rating? We'll copy this. So we select weekday. That's the name of our column here. So we're still making use of these queries. So we'll get rid of this which day. So we say group by weekday, order by average rating, descending. All right. So which weekday? So so you see, there's very close similarity, very close. So what? So how does I've shown us how to ask questions. But how? Okay, let's see the relevance of this question now, right? What this suggests is that um, it seems that the services, or let's say, okay, we're all assuming we're all working as data analysts, right? So you're working for a company or you're on a project, so you can the insight gotten from this can be um, if we're getting the same rating for all the days. Okay, that means our service are the same all through the week. It's a good one, all right. It's something to applaud the organization for company, all right. So we have 7.1 on a Monday, and even at the end of the week we have 7.0, all right. Tuesday 7.0, on a Sunday 6.9. That's a good one. 6.9, depending on, actually you're actually going to gauge this against something. Could it be this rating? Could it be 7/10, or could it be of course, since we're having 7.1, that means it shows that there is a margin. So it could be maybe 7.5 or 8. The total rating, the highest rating one can give is 8, for example. But from what the data set is saying, we've not seen anything more than 7.4 or 2. So it could be 7.5 or something, or maybe even 8. But at least it's a good one. All right. If you get a 4 star out of 5, people are impressed. So that means we are actually doing well all through the days. So this is an insight. All right. But if let's say we have the reverse, all right, the opposite. Of course, what recommendation will you give? You have to begin to see how you can impress your customers. All right. You have to see how you begin to make them, give them priority and just know where there is need for improvement. All right. So, so which day of the week has the highest average customer rating? So this is not an irrelevant question. So it's just a guide to show you how to ask more questions. And in exploratory data analysis, right, it's the data set that will determine the kind of question. Okay, it's the data set that will determine the kind of question. All right. So currently, I'm working on a project with um, a firm I'm working in, and we're asking I was we're having a conversation more like appraiser, and we're trying to understand what's going on with the data we have. So one of the questions I was asked by the project manager was, I just hope we're not collecting the wrong data, right? And also I hope we're not asking the wrong questions, because you can have a lot of you can take time collecting the wrong information that is not even going to help you. Do you get? So of course, for sales data set now, you should know that you need to have your revenue calculated. All right. See, valued VAT too is the quantity. All of these things are info that you need to keep record of if you are collecting data manually. All right. You need to do feature engineering, generate new columns from existing data. All right, like we did here. All right. So I'm trying to see how wrong information. I'm trying to point out the wrong information that shouldn't be in this data set. Although this data set is limited, because if we want to ask more questions, we have to do more of feature engineering. All right, but it's just a guide. All right. So when you are collecting data, don't collect information that is not needed. All right. It's so let me give an example. Now, I can be vague, but for sales data set like this now. Okay, we don't have age here. All right. So we have the gender. Good. We can also, so if we want to improve on the quality of our data, we can go out there to ask for the age of our customers. All right. Send out survey forms. So anytime they're making transactions, the age should be there. All right. That's one question. So I'm thinking of something that is not relevant, so that you don't get your data stuffed off with things that are not relevant. All right. And ask irrelevant questions. So this is actually data analysis, all right? So it's you're the one who is asking the questions and generating insight. The tool is there as a it's a tool in your hand to um, make use of it very well. Okay, so let's see the next and last question, right? Which day of the week has the highest average rating per branch? Copy this. Okay, so which day of the week has the highest average rating per branch? All right, so copy this, paste here. So we're still going to maintain the same queries. Which day of the week has the highest average rating? So we just run this query, all right, and see what the question is asking now. Which day of the week has the highest average rating per branch? Again, we will use our where clause, all right. We use our where clause. So put it after here. You can say where what now? Where branch is equal to branch. We've not used branch B. Let's see what's happening in branch B. Okay. Per weekday. I see by weekday. So Exactly. So I believe we can still. Okay. Glory, thank you. All right. So while I was just going over these examples, I was thinking of a good um, way of explaining this. Which day of the week has the highest rating per branch? Look at it per branch. This one is saying for each branch, right? After we had worked with time. We had another question that said for each branch, that's per branch too. This one is saying gender per branch for across each branch. You see how we're imputing the where clause here. We did that here too. You can see where now we're doing it here again. So if I think in a Power BI visualization guided project, I walked us through using the matrix visual. Exactly, this is actually the matrix visual in the sense that what we have our colon, we have our row, we have our field in our colon, we have a field in our row too, and then we have the observations in our value field. So the horizontal and then the vertical. So this is what, so the values here will be the rating, yes, if I'm not mistaken, the rating, and then what will be on our weekday, what will be on our colon or row. The weekday can be in the row, and then the branch can be in the colon. All right, and then we have the rating in the middle. So if you can picture our guided project in Power BI, the matrix visual where we had, I think I've forgotten what was there. All right, so I think we're comparing city. I can't even recall whether city or something, but this is what it is. All right, so where we have the rating as our value, as our values, and then so the matrix visual is a way of representing visualizing um, two fields together, all right, with your values or the qualifiers. So this is what it is. So if you can see here, if I run this query again, so you can see per branch. So in branch B, we had good ratings here. So we just way of like as it entails customer analysis. Customer analysis just to see how customers are interacting. All right, it's very, you can see how, and to help you make informed decision. Okay, so we've come to the end of the project, right? So all of this is very foundational, right? Very basic, but you need it as a building block. You need it as a pedestal, right? To um, to carry out analysis. Okay, so this is. Let me check. Let me hold on. Let me check something. Hope we've touched all the questions here. Okay. Okay. So, all right. So we've been able to answer all of this, like as the project stated in the beginning, answer key business questions using SQL queries to analyze product performance. We did that, sales trends, right? When you hear the word trends, right, across time, customer behavior. It's a, as it entails, the data set includes transactional details like product line, payment method, related metrics. And so we're able to carry out product analysis on the data set, sales analysis too, okay, and then customer analysis. So you can go through the information, all right, that I've been given here to practice. So as we proceed on, this will be our our last class for the year. So part of the remaining phase will be mentorship. So we'll get to interact more and see how we can help us scale up what we've known. All right. So we'll provide you with more resources, and then we're also there to help you mentor and grow your skills as data analyst. All right. So yeah, just to say, so when you hear data analysis, all right, so while the tool is there, you don't rely heavily on the tool. There's a part of you that needs to also come in, all right? So while the tool is there working, you're also working, asking questions. So you see, all these questions, it was not SQL that helped me. Um, I was thinking out of the box, thinking relative to the data. So it's the same thing, all right? So I don't know. I'm always using this same example. You are driving the car, you are driving the vehicle to a destination. And so how do you go about that? You have to learn how to drive. It's the same thing. So when you're on the road, you meet, if you're in the traffic, at least you should know that you need to park or you need to halt. So it's the same thing, critical thinking. Right? If someone is at if there's a vehicle in front of you that is going very slow and you need to overtake, it's either you overtake or you horn. So it's the same thing. So this is just the tool. We're driving it. SQL is just going to help us carry out there, just to interact with the data set. So you are the one actually doing the thinking. Like I said, it's a skill you need to learn, right? So if you're going into business, you have to have that business acumen, trying to understand questions. So I have some experience. That's why I'm able to see how I can explain some of these things to us in the way we can understand. All right. So the next time you hear of data analysis, you have to build yourself to master the tools and you know drive it to what you want, the insight you need to generate. All right. So um yeah, with that being said, I believe we're able to understand all that have been taught. If you have questions, my DM is open. Reach out. All right. You can ask your fellow colleagues too that have a better understanding. Connect with each other, all right? Connect with everyone. Connect, build relationship, all right? And you see how far you will go. There's a saying that says if you want to go fast, you go alone, but if you want to go very far, you go together. All right. So my DM is always open. Um, I'm on Telegram, on WhatsApp too. Probably I'll drop my number again so that we can connect. I know there are questions you want to ask. Feel free, all right? Feel free. Feel free. I don't bite. Ask your questions. I'll try as much as possible to answer them on the chat. So if there's anything you can send, you can put them on the comment section before I log off. We'll talk probably one of the days. Yeah. So after this, you'll get your assessment. It's just more like it's just a mixture of subjective and questions just to help you refresh. All right. So as we progress, we'll also be sharing resources and data set to work on and projects. So I just wanted us to come to this very point before we can now have our assessment. All right. So thank you very much. Thank you very much. Also, there's a workshop, all right, that I think it's starting today. Yes. All right. So feel free to join, and it will just also um, help you improve on your skill too. All right. Most of the things that will be shared there, you might have known them or you might not have known them. All right. So tomorrow, I'll be anchoring a live session too. So do well to be a part. All right. So it's part of the mentorship, right? From here moving forward. Okay. So yeah, it's been an amazing time. It's been an amazing time. All right. One of the days we will maybe host a live call where we can interact.